So as I was explaining before, this is sort of, I mean, I'm not going to be mega right on the time period of this, but I'm going to say late 13th century to sort of early 14th century. So it's medieval style footwork, dare I say it. Okay, it's not Renaissance, which is what we primarily study. Okay, so like I'm saying, we're usually in these positions where we reduce the silhouette. We're going to change those positions to these positions where our hips are square. And so like if this is plow, I'm protecting myself. So it's going to be, let's say I'm aiming for the right shoulder with my point, and I'm covering their left hip with my cross guard, I suppose, if you think about the way the sword is going to cut across it. So if I transition with my right foot forward now, it's going to do the same, but it's just going to swap to their left shoulder and then the right hip, if you like. That's the what I got out of this, basically. Square hips tonight, yeah. Okay. No, not like we were doing last week where we were doing a really elongated legs. This is going to be the opposite. It'll be a little bit easier on the knees tonight, hopefully. Yeah. So if I was so what we're going to do is a Zornhau. Who knows what Zornhau is? Before I start explaining it, because I don't want to mansplain it, but I will do. What's an overhow? No wrong answers. Yeah, cut comes from the top. Yeah, Zornhau is the same thing, except it's coming from through the shoulder. So rather than it coming like clavicle or head, it's going to come from whoever's shoulder is in front of you. So that kind of not middle, but not middle kind of. So we're, yeah, 45. Yeah. But you're aiming shoulder, not clavicle. Yeah. So instead of cheek to cheek, it's going to be shoulder to elbow. The way I was explaining it to John then. So if you're in this position and you're cutting through somebody, it's kind of going to meet their elbow a little bit, give or take. So if we can all just stand on the spot, get yourself in a nice square hip, and then just step forward with a nice cut, and you want to try and get the sword out of your silhouette, so that the pommel is just out of the silhouette there of you. If you're not entirely sure what I mean by silhouette, I mean your body. So if I did it like this, normal, it would be like that. This is kind of what we've been doing. If I want to do it now with these footwork in, it would be like that. So my sword's coming just outside my hip, but I'm covering everything I need to cover. Keep your hips looking at me, a bit more. Both, that one's a bit turned out. Keep it in. There we go, that's better. Adjust that foot, because I think you're going to be a bit awkward there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and then just step forward like that. That's it, yeah. And then just try and reduce that urge to twist. I know it's there, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, keep the point up a little bit. Imagine you're blocking it, yeah. It's just, all it is just muscle. So, one thing I should say, the sword goes first and then it's your legs. Do not go like that. It's got to be sword and then my legs will go. Yeah. Again, and you're naturally kind of bringing that extra little step in. Yeah, because with the nature of the way they do it, they don't go big step in like we would do to try and cover the ground, and then be able to like maybe take a nicer, bigger void out of the way. They will go, and then they've covered the same amount of ground, but they've just taken 2 tiny steps to come to it, and then they do the same to go back. So they'll do this kind of stuff. It's all, yeah, it's basically gathering steps, but with square hips. So if I did a gathering step, I'd be like that. But if I turn my hips, it's just like that. And then if I wanted to do a full passing, I could do that. Yeah. It's like, again, get there. Okay. Oh gosh, yeah, because it's kill will be killed. This one, the stuff we're doing is sport. We're not killing each other. This is all to do with you're going to kill the person, or they're going to kill you, and if you're not in the right spot, you die. So what I'm going to do now, when you feel comfortable with it, partner up, and you're just going to one more step back because you'll get hit in the face if you don't, and you're going to Zornhau like you mean it. and you're going to kind of fight for that middle line. So you want to get that center line rather, but you also want to make sure the sword is out the silhouette, because if it's here, you're in danger of being struck because there's so much more body on the side of the sword now, rather than if I'm here, I reduce the amount of body that's on that side. But if I cut and I do this, I've now got an equal amount of my body either side of the sword, which can be struck. Yeah. And yeah, literally you can exploit the shit out of it. But whereas if I go like that, I'm covering that, and then if they make a mistake, I can obviously do my winds or whatever, that comes naturally with that. Okay? If you take that step back and I come in with mine, so it's like that, okay? And I've got my silhouette, I've kept my hips as straight as I can do it at the moment, and I'm like that, I've got there. I wanted you to do it as well. I just hit you in the head, sorry. So if I'm gonna think strict here, and then I've got strong posture now, because if I did turn my hips, I can really take advantage of it. And also I'm using a cut like we did with the test cutting. We're going like that, same thing. So I'm test cutting air into pieces basically. That's my plan. So like that. I took a big step forward there, would have taken that in. Okay? And again, from here. And then I've got center line now. If you look at my blade, my point to Aaron's face, this is not good for him. I could ort and just stab him in the face, in the neck straight away. Or if I start to ort and he realizes, he'll then turn it and I can wind my blade in to try and get more strength in. If that doesn't work and it goes right out, I would then hook down and then snap like that. That's why doing this is pointless, because if I go, Aaron goes, no, he just goes, stab me in the face, because he's really proficient at killing people as well. Whereas if I'm here and I think, oh, he's put the power in there now, so and then I can, if it's still there, go outside, I can drive it into his arms as well. And then I'm coming in for finishing off. If he's not quite dead, get him on the floor and then rondle him in the neck or something, or just through the eyes. Yeah, so to be here means that when you're in, we'll just meet here, let's say, we've got a nice thingy bind. If I go now and turn my hip, I can control, should put a bit of pressure on it, let's see. I've got more power to it because I can roll my hip. This is a bad because I'm using my strong against his weak. Aaron can obviously realise that's going to happen and then do the same thing. But if I need to correct it, I can just adjust it and then I can step in. Whereas if I've turned my hip already and I'm here and it doesn't quite work and Aaron, I go to thrust and Aaron pushes it away, I can't really turn my hip again to get that wind in, the thrust, because I've got no my mechanics aren't going to let that happen anymore. Okay, whereas if I'm here and I think, oh shit, I need to get a bit more, twist it a bit, and then I can step in with my or thrust or whatever. That's the benefit from doing this and being like, oh, not quite, and then trying to fight it.
It's a very technical buffalo, isn't it?
Very technical.
Very technical buffalo. You're using like a lot of strong, but not to just smash somebody out of the way. It's a lot of strong to then do a lot of.
You're just fighting for. Yeah, yeah, because yeah, exactly, and you also every time you finish something, you should be in a protective stance. Yeah. So if I did it with, let's say I did it with a Unterhau, here, and let's say you're just coming for the Zorn from, yeah, I'll do that from this side. You just do a Zorn, I'm going to do an Unterhau, but step back, so it's nothing. So, and I'm in my Ox. I've got a nice out of my silhouette. It's there, it's protective, I can drop it down if I have to, or I can just come straight down into my other, and stop turning my hips, straight down into my other Zorn or Oberhau, okay?